Hey everybody, happy November. Black Friday is here and we are having a huge discount on the signature course. This is my absolute favorite course. I don't know that I'm going to make more courses because so much is contained in here. Every time I think to do a new course, I'm like, oh, but this covered it. So if you haven't had access to it yet, I don't blame you. This has been a pretty expensive course. A lot of people who aren't fully in the business all the time haven't put up for it, but we have a huge sale on it today. Kind of inspired by one of my originators who's been in my ecosystem for a long time. She's really wanted to get to this course. She has a file that needed help right now, and there's a few modules in this course that could help. So I thought, you know what? Let's just do it. I'm in the holiday season. Black Friday is always a big one for me. So if you guys are ready for it, you're doing your CEs, your continuing education, you're already in the student mode, this is the best time. So Black Friday, we have 70% off of our signature course. So you're going to go to learningreverse.com. You're going to head over to the store. Once you're in the store, you're going to scroll down, and it's this one right here, 301. Now, this course is typically over 2,000. Now, this was originally with a full program with ongoing coaching that was 6,000. So now I just peeled off the course itself so that people can have access to it. Now, this is a small price to pay. It will close so many more files than you ever expected. If you've had a file like halfway through where there was enough equity but something came up and you weren't able to close the file, this course probably could have gotten you there. Just being in the position I've been in, seeing so many different files, we included everything you need to know. Let's go into it. Let's kind of see what is in this course. So it's reverse mortgage mastery. This is advanced origination. And of course we have the opening sales call script. I go a little more into it. I go into storytelling, pulling out what your specific story is. One of my favorite authors is Simon Sinek. Nobody cares what you know until they know that you care. And in this space, that's really true too. So there's an example presentation so that you can learn how I present, what has brought me success, and having really educated borrowers without a lot of back and forth creates a lot of confidence, creates a really smooth loan process, really smooth closing for you. Understanding reverse rates and PLFs. We have so many more rates to deal with in the reverse mortgage space. In the forward space, there's one rate. It's so simple. I mean, not all products, but in general. In reverse, it's not like that. And you need to know when they lock, how long they lock for, what happens if rates go down, what happens if they go up. Now, this is presented by our favorite author in reverse, the author of Understanding Reverse, Dan Holtquist. He's an absolute expert at rates. So we had him present this one. It's a fantastic session. You may watch it 2 or 3 times to digest all the info. Marketing for reverse. So really cool tools available to you guys. So this goes over RMI, a really cool tool to go over really how to market and what to look for, where you want to be marketing. And then of course, presented by me, marketing for reverse mortgages, of course. Then ethically marketing. So of course, you're going to have your own compliance, but how to ethically market. We have reverse mortgage attorney Jim Milano presenting with me on that. Really premier attorney. He typically presents at the NRMLA sessions, and just great info. And then how and when to use compensating factors. Now, this module alone, I think, is worth the price of admission, especially at a Black Friday. Dude, that's just absolute mind-blowing. But I did record this about a year ago, so it's aged a little bit, but the information is still prevalent today. It's still relevant. So you've got HECM Financial Assessment Guide. You've got HECM to HECM Historical MI Rates, really important tool so that you don't have to ask your borrowers for so much. You can kind of understand what you're doing. Letter of explanation templates. Your LOEs make or break your exceptions getting things through. And then how and when to use them, and also what documentation you're going to need. It's one thing to get the guideline line from the lender. It's another thing to have pros guide you through actual file situations and how we've gotten through situations that might have seemed impossible. In reverse, I like to say that the underwriters have much more of a heart. In the forward space, I rarely ever wrote an LOE, and if I did, it was pretty simple, basic stuff. Less than a paragraph. My LOE's letter of explanations in reverse can go 2 to 3 pages. And it's really important to know what to include and what not to include, as both of those are just as important. So we go over all of that for you. HECM versus HELOC, really important info. Why is a HELOC not a great fit for a reverse borrower or for any senior in retirement, in my opinion, unless, you know, they've got millions and millions in the bank. And in that case, HELOC is still kind of not a great fit. Aging in place, huge. Now, this is the bedrock of why I got into reverse mortgages. It's the bedrock of why a lot of people do reverse mortgages. So it's really important to understand some of the implications of downsizing, of moving, some of the financial foundations that aging in place will require. I just talked to somebody this weekend, and they want to put an elevator in their 2-story townhome. And so you've got to understand what some of this stuff looks like, because they don't want to move, but the stairs are not going to be a long-term sustainable solution for them. Understanding key disclosures, really, really important here, right? Our reverse packages are, depending on how complex the file is, anywhere from 1 inch to 5 inches thick. You've got to be able to know what's really, really important that you're talking to your borrower about, and not just assuming they're reading all 500 pages, because in reality, a lot of people don't have the endurance to read every single page. So you need to know what they're disclosing. You need to verbalize these things and know what the really important ones are. Understanding the details of the harder loans. We're in an environment where there are just simply harder loans. Almost every originator I talk to, they laugh at the idea of a vanilla file right now. Times are a little tougher, rates are a little higher, lenders are a little more constricted in what they'll do and what they won't do. Understanding the details of how to get through these things is really, really important. We guide you through that. All about LISAs, TISAs, and PCSAs. Depending on what product you're using, they're written a different way. A LISA, a TISA, PCSA, they're computed different ways. And you need to understand how to sell them when you need to, when it's an appropriate fit, and how to get around them when it's not, and maybe when it'll kill the file. That's kind of the bummer. Then you also get some help in your marketing. You get included here the Jumbo Reverse Email Series. Now, those are a set of emails that you can populate into your CRM, or you could just copy and paste them, send them out manually. Make sure you edit in your own personalization. Generating epic referral relationships. Reverse mortgages are a much higher trust product. You not only need to know what you're doing, you need to have other people know that you know what you're doing and that you care. And so in order to do that, I personally believe referrals are the best way to go about this business. So how do you get those? How do you maintain those? How do you make sure that you're not what we call showing up and throwing up? Because there is so much information in the reverse mortgage process. As a newer originator, you learn so much and you're so excited, right? I've had originators who came from the financial planning field, and when they learned about how amazing all of the different features are, the line of credit that grows, the 10-year payments that can go until somebody's 150 years old. Are you kidding me? Term payments so they can delay Social Security. There's so many different structures. When they learn about that, a lot of the time they get to their referral partners and they kind of just say too much and they overwhelm somebody. So how to say just the key things and how to read that relationship for what's going to be most important for them. You know, if you're talking to a financial planner, they may or may not be most interested in term payments. You need to know why. You got to know what to ask. If you're talking to realtors, they may or may not even be aware that you can do a purchase with a reverse mortgage. Surprisingly, loan officers and realtors alike don't know that much about the reverse mortgage product in a widespread sampling size, let's say. When I talk to originators, I'm surprised at the questions I get. When I talk to realtors, I'm not surprised any longer, but there's a lot of realtors who really don't know much about this product, so you have a huge opportunity here. On top of the fact that the average age of a realtor in America is approaching 60 very quickly. So they're going to be borrowers themselves, and in fact, we have a lot of those. It's a great fit, right? Pay your mortgage when you get paid. Working with financial planners. Really, really important that you actually know what you're talking about and then go after them in a way that is respectful to them, their client base, and understands what their biggest pain points probably are. and what types of financial planners are going to be able to really have the client base that will fit with you and which ones won't. And then, of course, there's another email marketing series that's all about the HECM. And this is a piece of gold. I really should create its own product, but it's file intakes and setup steps. This is great because there's no DU, there's no AUS in reverse. There's no system to run your file through and have some little beautiful green check mark that comes up and goes, yep, should qualify. We don't use the same parameters. There's not DTI ratios, stuff like that. So you have to know what you're doing. And so what I did here is I captured my thinking process on every screen of the reverse mortgage file to say, okay, if this, then that. And if this, then that. And here's the documentation we're going to need. One of the items is, does the address match across all documents? That's something as an early originator I didn't know to check for and can cause big problems because, as we know, reverse mortgages are for owner-occupied properties. And that's just one line item. This is, I think there's about 20 different steps, maybe a little more, in this particular setup. So this alone is a really, really important module. And unfortunately, it's last. I should probably move that up. But that is what is in the 301 Advanced Origination. You have a huge discount. It ends on Black Friday. So if you're seeing this now, take advantage. Jump into this and make 2024 your year for reverse. I look forward to working with you, and I hope that you get this course and really knock it out of the ballpark. Have a good day, guys.